Hello, my lovely, lovely, lovely people. Today, I am doing the Kobo Cull. This is where I'm a bit deliriously tired. I don't know if you noticed. This is where I go to the oldest books on my Kobo and I either read them or delete them. I have no idea what is down there,
For there is always something down there.
but I will read until I have at least completed 2 full books. Last time it took me almost the entire day because let's just say my taste, I guess, has changed since I purchased all of these books previously. So without much further ado, let's go. I know it's such a weird thing us booktubers do. We get nervous when we don't know what's going to be given to us, but it's just what it is. So let's go down the bottom. Horseman by Christina Henry. Remember, oh my God, last time I did say, I've got a lot of Christina Henrys on here and I did pick one of them up. I didn't like the one I picked up last time, but I'm just going to check it out on Goodreads. I'm pretty sure this is a read take on the Headless Horseman of Sleepy Hollow. So this would have been a great Halloween pick. I'm surprised I didn't actually pick it up since I did read The Legend of Sleepy Hollow for Halloween. Horseman, Henry. I have hit and miss with Christina Henry's books. Sometimes I really enjoy them and sometimes they're not for me. So this has a 3.69. That's pretty decent. It's a Sleepy Hollow. Everyone knows about the horseman, but no one believes in him. So this is taking place 20 years after the event with Ichabod Crane and Brom Bones. And we have 14-year-old Ben who loves to play the game. But then they stumble across the headless body of a child in the woods. Bruh. Okay. Let's see what this is like. So I will get reading. That's the first book on the docket. Let's go. Oh, that text size is too big. All right, we're just getting lots of authors and reviews about the book. Jesus, 8 pages of praise. Part 1. A drowsy, dreamy influence seems to hang over the land and to pervade the very atmosphere. It's what would I give that out of 5? Oh, that's from The Legends of Sleepy Hollow. God, oh my God. I was thinking, oh, this is written in an older style. That's not even the chapter. Okay, her sentence is, of course I knew about the horseman, no matter how much Katrina tried to keep it from me. It's 2. Supposedly this chapter is going to take me 18 minutes to read. So I'm going to turn off the camera because I, again, waste that battery time. Okay, so I just finished the first chapter. So we're in the POV of Ben, and Ben is the grandchild of Brom Bones, who ended up marrying Katrina and has subsequently become the wealthiest and biggest landowner in Sleepy Hollow. And Ben was actually born a girl, but they don't want to identify that way. They want to follow in their grandfather's footsteps, and they can't be the leader of the Sleepy Hollow boys if they're a girl. So they prefer to go by Ben and to be a boy. Now, Ben and his friends were playing in the woods when they saw Brom, his grandfather, and a bunch of men on horses racing somewhere. So they followed them, and it turns out a child was beheaded, and some of the other men in the town started pointing fingers at the savages, as in the native people, and Brom's like, cut that shit out. I don't want to hear your racist bullshit. You can't prove that they did this. Stop, spreading rumors. If you spread rumors, I'll know it was you, boy. I'll know it was you. And so yeah, he's having none of that nonsense. But then one of the other men is like, what if it's the Headless Horseman? This is his MO. And Brom's like, come on, it's more likely that someone in our village did this. And everyone's like, no one in our village would behead a child. So they've taken the body back home. Some of the kids are also spouting, it's the Headless Horseman. So look, I've enjoyed the first chapter. I don't always love being in a child's POV. I'm going to go and see, is this actually adult or is it YA middle grade? Not sure, but I'm going to give it, like I said, 50 to 100 pages at least before I make a decision. So far, I'm mildly intrigued, but like I said, I don't tend to love reading books from children's POVs. Okay, I just finished chapter 2 and I've read 50 pages. So Ben has just discovered via eavesdropping that her father was also killed in the same way, beheaded and hands cut off. So she's wondering then, how did her mother die as well? Is it the same thing? Who's killing people in this way? It's not the first time it's happened. And she's been sent over to her neighbour's house because her grandmother has had it with her pretending that she's a boy. And while she's there, she sees a sheep sort of lying in the field. So she goes to investigate, and that sheep, lo and behold, beheaded and dehooved. So some foulness is about. Is it supernatural? Or do we just have a serial killer doing their business? So it'll be interesting to see which way it leans. I actually don't know if this is going to be paranormal. I didn't check the genre except to see that it was adult. So this is adult. But I'm going to continue on. I'm not loving it, but I'm intrigued. I do want to know. And I love Brom. They've made Brom a great character, very understanding, calls Ben, not their feminine name, Benty. So I do like Brom. And I must say, even reading the original Legend of Sleepy Hollow, I was rooting for Brom. Ichabod was kind of trying to cut Brom's lunch and was not just into the girl, but also into the girl's inheritance. So that was an interesting discovery. I didn't realise that because obviously I'd only previously watched the movie, not read the original book. But yes, I will continue on. There's going to be some interruptions. My dad's coming over to see if he can help me fix my washing machine. The dishwasher is definitely, the seal has torn off. I think that's why it popped open and just spewed all the water into my kitchen. I've also got to take the kids, one of my children, to their dad's. My other daughter's going to my mum's. And my stepmom's also coming over. She's made me some lunch. It's pasta and it's gluten, but I have no food in my house and it is storming outside today. Perfect reading weather, but I do not want to go out. I'm also still very much not recovered from the concert, so it would not be good for me to go food shopping today. So I might just eat the gluten and be even sicker for a few days. It's fine. It's fine. One meal, normally takes me out for a couple of days, but it'll be all right. And I think she said she found some shoes in storage that she doesn't want, that she's giving me. And I'm excited because my stepmom has great fashion taste and she used to work, I think, for a secondhand designer store. So a lot of her stuff is, designer. So I'll see what we get today. But I'm going to continue on chapter 3. So I absolutely scored. I scored today. My stepmama gifted me these beautiful vintage Louboutins. So sometimes I fit her shoes, sometimes I don't. But in this case, make it work. I would make it work, I will cram my tootsies in here. So very, very thankful and happy for my gift. The beautiful pasta that my stepmama made. It looks like it's more meat than pasta, so hopefully I won't suffer too much, but I'm just happy to have a hot meal. Okay, ignore this. I had to go out in the pouring rain to take my kids, and my dad came, and look, I'm with Bluebell. Hello, Bluebell. I will bring you closer. Little puppy, she's so cute. Hey, Sylvie. Okay, Sylvie. My dad thinks it's the pipe under the house is blocked. I have an old house, ceramic pipes, and so things like tree roots tend to grow in and crack the pipes and block the pipes. So he said we'll have to get a plumber in to check the pipes under the house where everything drains from the bathroom and the laundry. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna have to hand wash everything in the kitchen sink because I don't have a laundry sink. So yeah, I've got some more housework on my hands, a lot of housework on my hands, but it's fine. It is what it is. Hopefully we can sort it out and I don't actually have to buy a new washing machine. And the seal on my dishwasher has, like I said, broken. So that's what caused it to pop open and flood. So I have to get that fixed if I can. I forgot to ask him about it, as in who to call. Who do you call for rubber sealing? But yes, I'm still reading, so I'm 100 pages through now. There's some shitty members of the town and there's some lovely members of the town. So Ben just had a run-in with a shitty teenage boy, but then a lovely townsperson came to her aid and her defense and has told her that what he believes is responsible for the new killings in the town and for what killed her father, whom she's named after. So, yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to read this all the way through because I just sort of want to see how it goes. I'm guessing it's paranormal, but I might be wrong. I don't know, but it is, based on the fairy tale. But the original Sleepy Hollow, that didn't seem paranormal at all. That pretty much felt like Brom dressing up as the headless horseman in order to scare Ichabod Crane off from his girl. But I do like Brom's a great character in this. He's really lovely, and his daughter's great. Katrina, the grandmother, is that typical kind of woman who expects her granddaughter to be prim and proper and to marry and to have children and not to be wild and have dirt under her fingernails and roughhouse with the boys. So that typical fairy tale trope situation of characters. But I'll touch base with you probably another 50 pages. I might do 50-page interval check-in. It's about just over 300 pages, I think. Okay, I only have 60 pages left. I got caught up in it. Look, the writing is very simple. There were some bits that were frustrating because something would happen and her grandfather Brom would say, "Tell me what happened." She'd say, "I don't want to talk about it now. We'll talk about it later." And that drives me insane. I'm like, talk about it now. Tell him what happened right now. What are you doing? It's interesting. I don't understand though why the choice was made to make Ben 14 years old. It's feeling very icky. Some things have been happening that are not cool. I am trying to think of what I can say without spoiling anything. But yeah, I don't know why that choice was made. We'll see how it ends. But the things that have been alluded to, not quite cool with if he is indeed 14 years old. But yeah, it's interesting the way that they've spun the myth and the legend. So it's a bit, I almost cried then with something that happened. It was very sad. But I might record my last 60-page read, but I'll have to kick Sylvie off.
Hey baby girl, it's so cold today, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, so now we're fast forwarding to 10 years later. So I guess Ben will now be 24 years old. Interesting choice. Aww. Ben's having a moment with his childhood friend Sander. And I can't say what's going on. What the fuck is happening right now? What is happening right now? Oh no! Oh my god! 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 I'm gonna be sick! Oh my god! Oh my god! What the fuck? Jesus Christ. What is happening? Oh. What? Ooh. Ooh. Fuck you, dude. Yep. Oh. Okay. Oh, that actually made me cry. Alright, I'm gonna need a second to gather my thoughts and feelings about it. I did not expect that to hit at the end like it did. Alright.
What you doing? You've been here a long time. Yes, you have. Oh, I love you so much.
She's so cute. She's so fucking cute. Big yawn. Big yawn, baby girl. Okay, so this did kind of feel like Sleepy Hollow New Generation. It was feeling like a bit of a gothic folklore fairy tale sequel to the legend of Sleepy Hollow. It was also very much a coming of age, trans style story as well, so that was a big component of it. What else? It was inheritance was a big one, identity, obviously, especially to do with gender, and how stories can haunt us or form us. The story, the power of the stories we tell was a huge component in this, especially towards the end, and the power that we have to create and to narrate our experience and write our own stories alongside with all of the supernatural. So it was definitely, I don't know, is that a spoiler if I say it's supernatural? I will have deleted this if it is, but I have a feeling it might be in the genre. If they write paranormal, yeah, okay, no, it's not a mystery. This does have supernatural elements in this, which I was happy for because I didn't want it to be just, Brom dressing up as the horseman. How did I feel about it though in the end? I'm going to go with, I'm feeling like it's a 3.75 because even though the ending got me, there were some parts I found frustrating. Like I said, especially with she discovers something, Brom is like, what happened? Tell me. Oh no, we'll talk about it later. Oh, we'll talk about it later. That happened frequently. It's just something that is a pet peeve of mine when characters have vital, very important information, but they don't want to share it immediately. And I'm like, what are you sitting on it for? Time is of the utmost importance here. Like, let's deal with this. There were some icky things. There was an interesting twist. And I wanted to know a little bit more about the killer in question in terms of the lore behind that and what that was. Because we only got the reveal very late in the game, and then it was just sort of generalized about what they were. But maybe that's it. That's all they were, is that. And their purpose is to do that. And that's it. Speaking very ambiguously here. But it was a bittersweet ending. It was a little sad. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think that's what the thing is. I would have liked Ben to have had more of a say in the trajectory of their story. I feel like this was a bit fated, if you will, and it's like, well, was it their choice or is this just what happened to them and they've accepted it? Is this really the best life they could have had? Is this what they want to do? I'm not sure, because it did feel a bit inevitable, a bit forced upon them in that moment. What was the choice? What was the other choice? Was there any other choice, or was that, you know what I mean? You don't know what I mean unless you've read it, but yeah, I can't talk about it in specifics, which is frustrating. Which is why I also tend not to do these, a lot of these updating as I go vlogs, because then I just want to chat about what I just read in. But yes, I think I'm going to go with 3.75. There were some parts that I did feel the pacing slowed down and my attention was drifting, and I hate the shtick of, the womanly figure who tries to suppress any less than feminine qualities in their born female daughters or grandchildren or what have you. And even though the Katrina, the grandmother, the Oma, did have growth as a character, and that whole thing was communicated quite well between her and Ben and was resolved in a way, I still, reading about it constantly. Like, you need to be a girl, stop being so wild, need to brush your hair. It just irks me. I just don't like the gender conformist stuff, forcing people to act a certain way based on their gender in books, especially, towards girls. Girls can't be outspoken and wild and spirited and masculine in any way. So yeah, I'm going to go with 3.75. Also because, like I said, I don't tend to love books written in the POVs of the 14-year-olds. I enjoyed it more once Ben had grown up and was an adult. There was some horror elements in this. It says horror. I wouldn't really call it horror. It's more like a paranormal, folkloric, fairy tale thriller kind of. But yeah, 3.7. It's still a good read. I still quite enjoyed it. Let's see what the next book is going to be. It's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The day has gotten away from me. It is what it is. I say that saying a lot. I've realized I have some catchphrases. You tend to realize things about yourself when you film yourself and edit. I should have put some makeup on. I'm sorry. I'm feeling a bit haggard, and I feel like I'm looking like a bit haggard. Okay. We've got the next book. So the next book is The Book of the Unnamed Midwife by Meg Allison. Okay. Let me check that up on Goodreads. Book Unnamed. That's probably double N. There we go. This has 4.15. That's a high rating. That's a high rating. How many pages is this one? 291. Okay, it's not too bad. It's not a big boy. I'll laugh if like the first 2 books that I get on this end up being it. I don't DNF or delete anything. Sci-fi, dystopian. Okay, so it says when she fell asleep, the world was doomed, and when she awoke, it was dead. So there was a fever that decimated the population, killing women and children and making childbirth deadly. And the midwife must pick her way through the bones of the world. Interesting. Okay. And I do have a soft spot for midwife stuff because at one point I heavily contemplated becoming a midwife. And then when I started watching a lot of birthing videos and stuff, there was one where the child was stillborn, and I thought, oh, fuck. Of course, sometimes women or children die during childbirth, even with all of the modern advancements in medicine. Even though I was a home birther in the water. I had 2 water births with my kids at home in the bath. I had 2 beautiful midwives. But like I said, even with modern medicine, sometimes the women and the children just don't make it. And I thought, yep, I would not be good in that situation. I would absolutely fall apart in grief. And that's not what either the mother or the, child and surviving parent needs from the midwife in that situation. I'm too much of a bleeding heart to, in the moment of death and grief, suck it up and do my job. It would devastate me. I don't think I would be able to leave that at the door when I came home, I think I would carry it with me. But I'm rambling, and I've got to get reading this book. So we're going to do this one next. Look, from how it sounds, it should be up my alley. So it's got a very high chance of me reading it in full. The first sentence is, Mother Ina tapped her fingers on her hollow wooden belly. What? Is she just pretending to be pregnant? This is going to be quite desolate. Dystopian stuff is inherently and by its nature depressing. Like I said, if anything happened and the world became a dystopian world, I would rather just die than struggle to survive on a daily basis and live in a world that has very little joy left in it and everything is just a hardship. I'm just reading until we find out why she's got a wooden belly. She's a teacher and she's teaching these boys about the Book of the Unnamed Midwife. Okay, first prologue, we haven't been told why she's got a fake wooden belly, pregnant belly. Then we've got chapter 1, and now we're reading the journals. So this is the Book of the Unnamed Midwife, but it's the journal, and she's called it Book of the Dying, and it's in a script. It's in a font. When I do fonts, I guess this is trying to mimic handwriting. I struggle to read it. This could be a deal breaker for me. I'll see how I get on with it. But at the moment, it's very scratchy and scrawly, and I am not enjoying the work it is taking to read this. Okay, I've read 50 pages of this. Jesus Christ, this is dark and full on. So Unfortunately, the journal entries of the unnamed midwife, which is our main character, is in that disgustingly scratchy script, which not a fan. It's taken me a long time to read through that. But then we're going to present day with the main character, the unnamed midwife. She was a nurse. She went into a coma with this fever disease that is killing women and children. And she woke up surrounded by dead bodies in a hospital. And then she goes home, tries to shower, the water's off, gets into bed, and wakes up to a man trying to grape her. On page. It's on page. She then kills him and goes on the run and realizes that, yeah, pretty much almost all the women are dead. The world's gone to shit. And I wonder about that. If all the women died, would the men still continue on, with the world, or would they just let it go to lawlessness? I don't know if it would go to complete lawlessness if it's just pretty much all the women that died, or say, all the men that died. I think 50% of the population still living would still try to go on with life as normal. But in this one, no. Everything's gone to shit. Everyone's scavenging for food and water. And the problem is that not every single woman died. A few made it out, but because there's so few women left, the men gangs are now hoarding the women so that they can grape them at will, because men still want to bang chicks. So it's very dangerous for her to be a woman. So she's cut all her hair off, which is what you would do, and is dressing like a man, and is trying to make it through. And she's finding other women who are captured by men and used as their sex dolls, pretty much. But she can't do anything about it. She can't save them. She's one woman on her own, trying not to be discovered as a woman. It's grim, bruh. Like, I don't know, is this whole thing just going to be the threat of sexual assault? Like, is that all it's going to be? And just trying to survive. So, she found a cabin, but then some men found her, and obviously they wanted her, so she had to try and shoot most of them dead so they would go away. Yeah, it's full on. I don't know. I might give it another 100 pages, but it is, look, it's captivating. It's written in a way that keeps you turning pages, but it's so dark and depressing. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know about it. Obviously, because we started with the first chapter in the future, and they're talking about the journal of the unnamed midwife. I'm assuming things in the future are better off, that children are starting to be born again, but yeah, it's just pretty brutal. Okay, I can't anymore. I'm on page 63, and it's constant rape and assault of women. I'm sure it eventually stops, but I just don't want to read about it anymore. And like I said, it's on page. No. So I'm not doing that one.
Delete it.
So let's go on to the next book. My kobo's frozen. Just give me a second. I really do need to get a new one. Okay, guys, I've got it working again. I already saw the book that came up. It's Tin Foil Butterfly by Rachel Eve Moulton. I'm pretty sure this is another depressing book or a horror book. I'll read the first line and then I'll look it up. Let's have a look. I swing my body up to the front seat of the van and put my feet on the dashboard. Tinfoil Butterfly. I feel like it is, because I just read Tantrum by Rachel Eve Moulton, and that was meant to be horror, but I wasn't into that one. Okay. This is 264 pages. It's a horror! I was right. It says Emma's hitchhiking across the United States, trying to outrun a violent, tragic past when she meets hot but dumb Lowell, who she hopes will take her to the Badlands. All right, we'll start it. I'm going to say, yeah, I'm not really in the mood for depressive, violent books, but that's what's next. So I don't like it, I'll get rid of it. Let's do Tinfoil Butterfly. Okay, so we have this girl who hitched a ride with this dude who sort of got her to perform sexual acts on him. For helping her, she decides she wants to get out. He doesn't want her to leave. And she ends up, things turn violent. And it's alluded to that she might have had a sexual relationship with her brother. Either way, I'm not into it. I'm just not feeling this book. Like I said, I really don't think I'm in the mood for dark and violent. So let's see what else we've got going on here.
Delete it.
Okay, I have a book called, I don't know what this is. This is to be expected, I guess. I Laugh Me Broken by Bridget van der Zip. The cover's cool. I do like the cover. Let's read the first sentence. Oh, my kobo's like freezing. A gigantic violent hand seemed to grasp the ship. I'm gonna look this up, guys. I need to have some context of what this is. So it says it's a litfic mental health. Okay. Ginny is feeling lighter and heavy at the same time. She just learned about her devastating genetic inheritance. She goes to Germany to research a novel about a sea captain. What the fuck is this about? It's about genetic inheritance and the choices that are ours to make. It's a hard-won love story. All right, look, this is what this is. I'm either reading it or deleting it, clearing it out. So, just how many pages is this? 272. All right, let's get reading. Like, I really want to find a book that's going to finish this off because it's getting close to dinner time. Okay, so I read the first chapter, which was 18 pages. It seems to be about a woman who has gone to Germany because she wants to write about a German count. She's just talking to some other people. She's looking up accommodation. I'm not interested at all. There was nothing at all interesting in this, nothing that's gripped me whatsoever. So I am DNFing this one. Like I said, I don't even remember it.
Let's get out of here, but delete it.
Friends and Dark Shapes by Kavita Bedford. I also don't know what this is about. It maybe looks like a litfic. Let's see what the first thing is. The year after my father died, I moved into a share house. Okay, let's look up this one. Friends and Dark Shapes. Another share house moving situation. Sorry, I went real close then. Friends and Dark Shapes. Friends and Dark Shapes. Once again, I think this is probably not light and heavy. It says fiends. Fiends and Dark Shapes. Fiendish. Ooh, yeah. 3.77 rating. A group of housemates in Sydney's inner west contend with gentrification, divisive politics, stalled careers, and their own complicated privilege as second-generation Australians in this world of dating, moving. I have to give it a go at least. I don't think this is something I'm interested in. Coming of age. Oh, that was the magpie. But yeah, let's give it a go. It's going to be another DNF for sure. Let's try. You never know, might be surprised. Okay, so we start off with an unnamed main character, and they're interviewing people to become a housemate, and it's a wanker dude. It's just a bit of a wanker. He owns a bar that daddy bought for him, and he's just a douche canoe. It's not my kind of story at the moment. I have to be in a very particular mood to read Australian litfic just about 20-something-year-olds figuring life out. Like it's a very infrequent mood that I'm in. Indy's asking me to buy something for Genshin Impact. Let me just get on to the next book and then I'll reply to her.
Delete.
I'm not having that one. What is this? Devil's Trumpet, Tracy Slaughter. This could be a get real weird with it buy, so I've got to be careful I don't delete those because I've purchased them for get real weird with it. It's looking a bit odd in the way it's formatted. All that first day, she felt happy and hellbent. Let me look this up because this is feeling to me like a weird litfic. Devil's Trumpet. So I don't want to read and delete this if it's something that I've got specifically. Who's this by? Let me go back to contents so I can see the author. Tracy Slaughter. I said it 2 seconds ago. It's a cool cover now that I see it in colour. When the past were rhinestone, when your car was a blue Holden God, when kisses spread to your back teeth, marathons of sucking, when we pashed through jokes, through tunes, through homework, through the leftovers we shoveled out our school bags, when you let me tattoo you with talk. 31 new stories from the acclaimed author of Deleted Scenes for Lovers. I don't know what this is. I'm just going to give it a go. Look, I have a feeling I might have gotten it for weird ones, but I don't know. I have to read the first story and see if it's really weird or if it's just litfic stories. So I guess I'm reading this one, Devil's Trumpet. Okay, I apologize if it's really loud. The storm's getting really bad now. It's getting really bad. There's been a lot of thunder and lightning, and my house will probably flood. Still having that problem. I'm not into this. So the first story was done in this very fragmented way. It's about someone who's having a woman who's having an affair with a married man and whatever. I just don't care whatsoever about this story.
Deleted, right?
So it's getting deleted. All right, what's next? Arms and Legs by Chloe Lane. What is this about? Let me bring you in close. Arms and legs, arms and legs. Arms and legs, arms and legs. Lots of praise. 5 pages of praise. All right, London. I can't find the pieces, Dan said. The broken pieces of teeth. All right, let me check this isn't a get rid of me. Arms and legs. Fuck. I gotta check the flood areas. I wish it didn't rain in my house. Ooh, this has got a low rating, 3.2. This is definitely for weird ones. It's only got 160 ratings. That's how I know. I pick books that don't have a lot of reviews. So I better get out of that. I don't want to know anything more about that. The Absolute Book by Elizabeth Knox. Yeah, once again, I just don't know what this is about. Okay. It's okay. Oh, the kitties don't like it. It's okay. Part 1, Insects. We've got an opening quote by Dr. Faustus. A book with a light in its long perspective. When Taran Cornick's sister was killed, she was carrying a book. Is this a fantasy? The Absolute Book. It's over 500 pages. Look, there is a chance that I might not finish this vlog today, especially if I'm going to be trying to... Oh, this is also really low rated, 3.2, and this has got 6,000 ratings. Taran Cornick believes that the past, her sister's violent death and her ill-conceived revenge, is behind her, and she can get on with her life. She has written a successful book about the things that threaten libraries. Insects, damp, light, fire, carelessness, and uncaring. But not all the attention it brings her is good. She's getting questioned about a cold case and a fire in the library at her parents' house, and an ancient scroll box known as the Fire Starter, and a mysterious illness, and a young shadowy man named Shift. What the action-packed fantasy. Birds can talk and dead sisters are a living force. It's a book of journeys and returns from England to Auckland, from magical fairyland to purgatory. Above all, it is a declaration of love for stories and the ways in which they shape our worlds and create gods out of morals. Okay. Has anybody I know read this? No. How many pages is it exactly? 640. See, that's what I mean. The Kindles are not always entirely accurate. They said like 560. 640. Could you imagine if this is the book I end up reading? Jesus Christ. All right. I've got to get started. I'm going to go check the rooms for water damage, and I'll come back to you once I've read a chapter. It says it's going to take me about 8 minutes to read the first chapter. I'll just wait for the lightning to finish. Okay, so I read the first chapter, and we're treated to how the main character's sister was violently killed. She was walking along the road, and a man decided, hey, you know, I've always wanted to run somebody over and then grape them. I'm just going to do it. So he swerves, hits her. Unfortunately for him, after he strikes her down, she shits herself and is all mangled, and it turns out doesn't want to bang that. So he shoves her into the boot and then drives to his sister's house, where his sister calls an ambulance, but yeah, she's already dead. So that's how the main character's sister died. And I don't know, I'm just not into the book.
Delete it!
I'm just not into it. Good news, there wasn't a lot of flooding. The heavy downpour was brief. Now it's gone back to lightly raining. So it's just the heavy downpours that cause the rain to come inside my house. But I'll be on high alert all night in case it happens again. All right, so I got to pick something else because that is not doing it for me. My God. Oh, look. Oh, did you see that? That was a big thing of lightning. Where's Nova? Nova, where are you? At least it's not fully nighttime yet, because that does freak me out when it's very dark and the storm be storming. All right, let's go see what's next. Another one down. I think I had a bit of hubris in the beginning when I ended up reading the first book, Horseman, all the way in full. I thought, oh my God, I'm literally just going to read 2 books and that's it. I'll be done. I won't be deleting anything. I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. I don't even know if I read more or less than last time. Last time I did DNF a lot. Okay, so we've got a book called If Found, Return to Hell by M.X. Liu. The damned conference room smells of chalk dust and cheap coffee. The conjured kind, not even brewed. Okay, that sounds like it might be. Let me just put you on something. To me, I'm looking I think it's the backlight. That sounds like a magic. If found, return to hell. Atmospheric. It's spring, guys. It's spring. So far, we've just had a lot of spring showers. If found, return to hell. 3.78. Oh, not many ratings. 976. Being an intern at One Wizard sounds magical on the page, but in practice mostly means getting yelled at by senior majors and angry clients alike. And so, after receiving a frantic call from a young man who's awoken to a talisman on his bedroom wall, and no memory of how it got there, journeyman Wen jumps at the chance to escape call center duty and actually help someone for once. But the case ends up being more complicated than Wen could ever have anticipated. The client has been possessed by a demon prince from hell and he's not interested in leaving. This actually sounds interesting to me. It sounds like it might have some humor as well. It's only 162 pages. That could have been on the short books reading vlog. The genre is fantasy, novella, urban, queer, fiction, horror, adult. Okay, magic. Look, I'm cautiously optimistic about this. I love hell. Actually, that's giving me light. Let's put that back. I like books that feature hell. I like books that feature possession. I like books that seem to have a bit of humor. There seems to be a bit of hating on the corporate hellscape going on. That's getting real loud. I've got to go back and check for water damage. That's heavy. I think it's time. I'm just going to have to cough up the money to get my gutters redone a second time, because the amount of water that's coming in is too much. This is literally only a few minutes later. That towel didn't last long. Alright guys, I think the worst is over at the moment. It's like I said, it's the heavy downpours that fuck me up. I've got to try and dry towels. I wasn't even in frame because I'm almost out of towels because I haven't been able to do any washing, because the washing machine won't drain. So I think this is just going to be my night tonight. I'll try and read when I can, but right now I'm on trying to dry my wet carpets mode and keep an eye out for any downpours. I have to be able to switch out the towels quick. While I was in the front room putting those towels down, as you saw, the one in the bedroom was already at capacity for absorption, and all that water ran straight down my wall into my carpet. So yeah, the towel I put down after it is already soaked. So yeah, I'm running out of towels. I might have to use tea towels. At least my garden got a good watering. Guys, I just have to make my dinner quickly because I actually lost power. The power went out for about 20 minutes. I don't know if the water tripped it or if it was a power surge, but my entire house lost power. So while the light is still working and I've gotten power back temporarily, or hopefully permanently, I'm just going to cook myself dinner first, okay? And I'm going to charge up my phone, because I might need it. I might need it, but I'm hoping that's it. The worst is over. There's no rain now. Now it's, you know, the sun's out. So, but yeah, I'm getting quotes tomorrow. I'm going to get people to come as soon as they can, because I can't live like this any longer. I'm just going to have to take a big chunk of my savings out and just fix the problem. Okay, so my power went out again, and that's Bluebell. Blue. As I was saying, before I could even get out to check the circuit breaker box, everything came back on. So I don't know what's going on, because from what I understand is when a breaker gets tripped, that particular breaker will get switched off. So whatever circuit got triggered, that won't come back on until you go out and manually turn it back on. And yet what's happening is my entire house is going dark. So every single room in the house, and then every single room in the house is coming back on by itself. So now I'm like, is the dryer just taking up too much power? Because I'm trying to dry the wet towels. I don't know, guys. I just don't have the knowledge. So I'm left befuddled and confused, and I've got no one to help me with this. So it's a Sunday as well. I can't really call anybody. All right, I was reading If Found, Return to Hell. It's written in second POV. I'm not a fan of that. Your eyebrow twitched and you went and you turned your computer on. Yet I'm not that guy. So it's just a bit boring and dull. He works at a sort of call center for magicians, and people call with problems. And some guy called him because he woke up and his whole room was different, and there was a sigil or a talisman. And then it turns out he's been possessed by something from hell. So our main guy's trying to help him, but it's just not funny and it's not interesting. And the second person point of view is not for me.
Delete it right now.
I was really hoping I could just read that and be done, because like, I don't know how much longer I have, and if my kobo dies, I won't have the ability to charge it possibly. So at least I did eat, thank goodness. So I've eaten, but let's go on to the next book. Fingers crossed, this is the one. All right, don't know what's next. I've got to go and scroll up a page, because I've got some books here that I know are for get real weird with it, so I don't want to read those ones. Stations of the Tide by Michael Swanwick. This looks like a sci-fi. Let's have a look. The bureaucrat fell from the sky. Stations of the Tide. Stations of the Tide. What are you? You look a bit retro, a bit old school. Okay, this book was written, 2001, not really, 256 pages, 3.67 on Goodreads, and it says, when a strange magician and renegade scientist steals the secrets that could save a distant planet from being annihilated by its own ocean's tides, a man is sent to Miranda to retrieve those secrets before it's too late. Winner of the Nebula Award. No one I know has read this. All right, we're going to read that and see how we go. I just really want to find a book to finish this vlog off, because I'm a bit stressed out with everything that has happened today. Okay, well that was dry. That was as dry as a toast. A bunch of bureaucrats were talking to each other about a dude named Gregorian. They're like, do you think he's an actual legit magician? I don't know. It was just so dull. And I could not give two shits.
Delete it. Must delete it.
About it. I've been giving these books way too long, like 50 to 150 pages for The Unnamed Midwife. I'm wasting my time. I know myself, and I know what I'm into. Not into that. Okay, that's a book that I've already read, and it's still on here, so let me delete that one. What's next on the list? The Crooked God Machine by Autumn Christian. What is this? This is horror? It looks a bit creepy. I was so confused. Before Daddy started shuffling Wait, what? Before Daddy started stuffing roadkill in the living room, I almost thought everything would turn out all right. Oh, hold on. Hold your horses. Let me look this shit up. Okay, I've got you in a weird spot because there's so much light In the house right now, it's full sunshine. Melbourne, you gotta love it. 1 second, my house is flooded, and now I'm in a glass house. I'm in a glass house case of emotion. It's a sauna. It's a sauna in here. I'm actually, oh my God, look at those bags. I'm not doing well. I need proper rest and relaxation. All right, The Crooked God Machine by Autumn Christian. It's got a 3.86. It's only got 502 ratings. Is this a get real weird with that one? 276 pages. Charles lives on the Black Planet, a place where plague machines terrorize citizens with swarms of locusts and rivers of blood. Salesmen sell sleep in the form of brain implants, and God appears on the television every night to warn of the upcoming apocalypse. When Charles meets Leda, a woman who claims to have escaped from hell, he begins to suspect that the Black Planet is not all what it appears to be. After Leda disappears, Charles sets out to find her with help from his stripper ex-girlfriend, the deadhead Janine, and along the way he will uncover the truth of the origins of the Black Planet and discover the source of the mysterious voice that calls to Leda from the ocean waves. What the fuck is this? Horror, it's bizarro fiction. Lovecraftian, I think 502 ratings, yeah. This one is a get real weird with it. All right, let me find something else. I had a feeling. Look at that rainbow. That's sweet. I had the feeling it was one of those ones. I've got a lot of them on here, you know. I batch bought them. I was like, what's fucking weird? Sisyphean Dempao Torishima. Why do I feel like that might be another Sisyphean. All right, let's just read the first sentence anyway. In stable orbit above a congealed accretion disk in the depths of galactic space, there swarmed untold millions of corporations who together formed the immense nimbo-translucent corpospheres of which an archipelagopolis was composed. What the fuck did I just read? This is translated by Daniel Huddleston. 429 pages. I don't think I'm into this just by the way it's written. Even after the world and humanity itself it's only got 348 ratings. This could be another get real weird with it one. It says it's about the world and humanity which were rendered nearly unrecognizable by genetic engineering. A day in the office can feel Sisyphean. The company stands atop a tiny deck supported by iron columns 100 meters high, and the boss is its president, a large creature of unstable shifting form once called human. What the hell is this? This is the most difficult book I have read. It's dense, confusing. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm just going to read the rest of this out, and if I'm like, in the midst of their jostlings were two consolidated corporations, Gio the Intercessor and Jar the Vigilant, who together formed a stately gourd-like shape over 10,000 shares in diameter, seeking to engulf one another. These two had made mutual acquisition bids, and after the passage of a great length of time, in the midst of the unnatural equilibrium maintained within their incorporated system, subordinates dictated from life forms sampled on countless worlds toiled each according to the standards of the corporation to whom he belonged. They formed a vast, multifaceted ecosystem wherein cycles of death and rebirth repeated endlessly. This is not for me. I'm sorry. I'm just quickly reading to see if it's like that the whole book. Bro, no, this is not for me. I'm happy if this is for some people. That's not for me. Let's look up the next one.
Delete it. I'm not sure that deletes it.
Oh, fuck. That's get real weird with it. And I said fuck because the one above it, I saw it. It's The Monk by Matthew Lewis. Whew, I do know this one. This is a classic. Let me read the first sentence too. Scarcely had the Abbey bell tolled for 5 minutes, and already was the church of the Capuchins thronged with auditors. I don't know if I'm still interested in reading this, and if I am, it could be something that I would probably prefer to read on audiobook, because I'm pretty sure this is a tome, and dense. How many pages is this as well? 385. Oh, okay, maybe I'm thinking of Paradise Lost by Milton. Oh, this was this one. He now saw himself stained with the most loathed and monstrous sins, the object of universal execration, doomed to perish in tortures the most severe. Supposedly this is shocking, erotic, and violent, and it's about a monk who's battling with his sexual obsession, which leads to rape and murder. This was a groundbreaking novel in the gothic horror genre, and it's filled with sex and scandal. Okay, look, I'll give it a go. Am I in the mood for a classic right now? No, definitely not. I just, I'm stressed, and that's not really, when you're stressed, you're like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick up a book that was written in, wasn't 1998, I'm going to tell you that right now. But that's the thing that sucks sometimes. It's like, Goodreads, tell me when it was originally written. You know what? I'll find out quicker by Googling it. The Monk, Lewis. I'm going to guess 1800s. Oh, close. 1796. All right, guys. I'm reading it. I'm doing it. I don't want to, but I am. Maybe I'll love it. So, look at that. Sometimes, I really do love classics, so I might like it. So let's go. Okay, we've got a scene happening, and we've got a really beautiful woman, and they're talking about her appearance. And then we get to, she appeared to be scarcely 15. An arch smile playing round her mouth declared her to be possessed of liveliness, which excess of timidity at present repressed. She looked around her with a bashful glance, and wherever her eyes accidentally met Lorenzo's, she dropped them hastily upon her rosary. 15? 'Tis a young creature ignorant of the world. Please don't say. I'm just going to check to see if this does have some pedo kind of things in it. Okay, yeah, ding, ding, ding. I just look, my spidey senses were tingling, and I'm thinking, oh, I think there's going to be pedo stuff in here. I think there's going to be grape, some incest, some child stuff. Ding, ding, ding. Look, I don't know. It's probably fine. I'm not loving the writing style either. I did read 20 pages. So I feel fine. I feel fine DNFing that. Like, you know what? This is my one life, and I want to read books that I enjoy. And I don't have to read certain books. I don't have to. So I'm not going to. Oh, look, we've got a Grace Draven. Thank God. In the Darkest Midnight. I'm saying that because Grace Draven is a romantasy author that I do enjoy. She does tend to favor having ugly protagonists. I know, yeah, you think, what do you mean, Chanel? She likes to go out of her way to tell you how ugly, plain, absolutely non-spectacular looking her characters are. They're just the most average of average people. Sometimes her male leads are hideous, are legitimately ugly, are like, I vomited in my mouth a little looking at you, but then all of a sudden, over time, your personality is so fantastic that I can overcome my aversion to your face metrics. So that tends to be her style. I don't know what this one's about. I'll look it up in a second. It said the master arrived year 3837. Jana squeezed herself into the corridor's darkest alcove as hard as she could. This is a novella, so that's fantastic. Let's look it up. It says Darkest Midnight? In the Darkest Midnight. So I've got my poor little cats in the background sleeping. Look, I have high hopes for this. This might be something that my brain can comprehend. I wouldn't mind a bit of romance at this point. I don't tend to read a lot. In Darkest Midnight. I'm not good at typing on screens. In the Darkest Midnight. Oh, this is the Wraith King series. So yeah, these are the Uggos, the Uggo men monsters that our lovely ladies end up marrying, even though the men are butterfaces or butt he faces. All right, what have we got? We've got the mark Jana Ulfrida was born with. The mark Jana was born with has made her a target of the cruel and idle all her life. Okay, so maybe she's got a birthmark on her face and, she's shunned for it. During the long, crowded festivities of the winter holiday known as Dalialda, there's nowhere to escape and no one to save her from the inevitable taunts and mockery. Yep, she's the Uggo in this, until a handsome swordmaster promises to teach her how to save herself. It's a standalone novella. Okay, let's go. Look, I've got hopes for this one. It's only, how many pages? As this one is only 120 pages. I might just do it on this one. Let's be real, guys. How many books do you want to see me DNF? because this is what it is. I made a little space in my kobo though. Let's look at the bright side. Look at the bright side that the rain has stopped. So hopefully no more power outages. I can hand wash all of my towels and then dry them. But let's get started with this book. Here we go. Grace is doing standard. So we've started the scene with Jana running away from some bitches who call her Fireface. So I'm assuming it's like a red, like a port wine birthmark. And she's tried to hide. And right before they discovered her, a beautiful voiced swordsman, Sir, what is it, Sir Valis? I've forgotten his first name. Radamar appears and he sends the girls going off in another direction. So he saves her. And so Jana has just stepped out from the shadows and is now getting a good look at her prince, her knight, her rescuer. His voice was beautiful. His visage was not. The facial bones looked as if they'd been hewn from rock by a mason instead of chiseled away from marble by a sculptor. An unforgiving jawline and the deep hollows behind his high cheekbones lent a harshness to his features that was enhanced by a thin-lipped mouth. The prominent nose edged toward hawkish, a fitting shape to match the intensity of his gaze. He wasn't handsome, but he wasn't ugly either. The ruggedness of his features was softened by the most arresting pair of green eyes. Narrow and framed in dark lashes, they watched her. Okay, do you know what I mean, though? Like, this is what she likes to do. She likes to be like, look, these aren't attractive people. These are very mid to below average looking people. But we get to know them. We get to know their personalities. We get to see them fall in love. And you get caught up in it. Like I said, I still like her books. She does good sex scenes. Like, the tension's good. But yes, this is something that I've seen people find very annoying with her books, is that she will mention repeatedly, bash you over the head with the same ugly stick her characters were bashed with. Okay, so he's asked, why are they calling you Fireface? Because she's wearing a veil. And so she's shown him, and it does sound like a port wine. I don't know if that's the actual term, but, you know, a dark purple birthmark that covers half her face and goes onto her chest. And he says, kissed by Yalda, the creator. And she's never had anybody say anything complimentary or positive about her birthmark before. And she said, you make it sound nice. And he said, there's no reason to make it sound terrible. It isn't worthy of so unforgiving a name as Fireface. And now he said, is your mark why they're chasing you? And she said, yes, because they find it offensive. And he said, does it jump off your face and bite them? So he's making, you know, like, some jokes about it and stuff. So we get, you know what I mean? We're already getting like, he's a sweetheart and she's a sweetheart. And, you know, we wish the best for them. Hold the phone. Jana or Yana, it's probably Yana, was only 15. Oh, I hope we get a skips 5 years ahead thing, or at least 3.
Hey, Bubba. You comfy on the table? Oh.
Okay, I see what you've done here. So Jana was hoping to be an archivist, to chronicle things, but her father said, oh, no, not until you're 18. You can't go there and work there until you're 18. So the lady that saw her work and requested that she work for them said, listen, we're leaving a swordsman from this particular country, Ilfinian, and we want you to learn all you can about their ways and their culture and record it all down. So he's going to be staying with her family for 4 years, which means she will be 19. That's a lot of fucking sun, bro. I still find it icky. Then, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, you can't. It'd be okay if he met her at 15, went away and came back. But if he's going to be with her the whole time from 15, 16, 17, 18, it gives me the ick. It's a little groomy. I don't like it. But let's continue on. Okay, this is the dilemma I have. In order to continue on, I am going to have to do some mental gymnastics and pretend that she's not 15 years old and 16 and 17. I'm going to have to pretend that he met her when she was 18 and she has been an adult this entire time, because otherwise I can't continue on. We just had a scene where she was being quite self-deprecating and chastising herself, and he's like, you're too hard on yourself, blah, 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 blah. And then he starts tracing her birthmark, and he's like, if people can't see past this, then more them the fool. But I'm like, oh, she's 15, and you a man. You're a man. Like, you know, and they had their training montage where he's training her with the sword and she's noticing all of his muscles and his biceps straining against the clothes he's wearing. And I'm like, look, yes, teenage girls do, you know, have crushes and lust after men, but like, I don't know what to do. I want to keep reading because I like Grace Draven's writing. Her romances are always lovely. They're slow burn, they're delicious, but she's 15. What do you guys reckon I should do? I don't know, because I just the thought of going on to another book and then that not hitting and then another, and it never ends, and I'll be out of daylight soon. I don't know. I'm going to continue reading. We're now a year later, so I'm guessing she's 16/17. So far, all that's happened is just some tension and him, you know, like tracing her cheek and kissing her hand and her getting jealous when any women show him attention. I just don't, it's a choice. Like, why choose to make her 15? You don't have to. But you can make her 18 when they meet. You don't really need to, but you can. But at least then she's an adult. But why make her 15? I don't understand the choice for this. You know, it doesn't have to be accurate to the times. Medieval times, 15-year-olds were getting married and having children. It doesn't need to be accurate, you know, it's a fantasy book. So I'm going to continue on because I just don't have hope that I could find another book that I like enough to finish today. And like I said, I'm liking everything about this apart from the age factor. And I know I just DNF'd the monk because the 15-year-old was about to be raped or whatever, but like that's not happening in this. At least it's consensual, but you can't have consent between you. But I'm sure nothing will happen until she's 18. I know. Nothing will actually happen. I'm hoping. If they kiss before she's 18, I'm going to have to DNF it. Like, let's hope not. Hello. So, okay, let me tell you. Let me give you an update. They were together for a year. So from 15 to 16, he trained her and her brother in sword fighting and self-defense. And then she went away to train at the archive to be a transcriber while he continued to train her brother for 2 years. So she returned when she was 18. So they sort of reunited when she was 18. And he was about to go on to his next assignment. His assignment with his family was over and he'd been assigned somewhere else. And while she was going back to her room, she had an altercation with the mean girls and she walloped them, and they know not to mess with her now. And he was there when it happened and he sort of backed her up, and she's like, "Are you proud of me?" He's like, "Of course I'm proud of you." And he's like, "You're very brave." And, you know, he was gassing her up, and she's like, "I just wish I was beautiful too." He's like, "You are beautiful." She starts crying, so he wipes the tears from her face and he starts kissing her all over her face, and then they have a little bit of a smoochy smooch. So she's 18 at this point. And then halfway through the smooch, she's like, "What am I doing? I shouldn't have done that. I'm so sorry." And he left. So all of this was a bit icky to me, okay? Like, there's no reason she had to be 15. They could have met when she was 18, and then he goes away and he comes back and she's 20. And they have a kiss, and then he goes away. So it fast forwarded now 8 years. So she is 26, and she, you know, is flourishing in her field, her career, and she's hoping to sort of reunite with him. So we're down to the last 30 pages, and we'll have a read. But like I said, why she had to be 15, I don't know. So we're now on to the last bit. The master returned. Oh, they also had a bit of a dance together. You know, it's all the romantic things. He's also kind of looking for her. So they know that they're both in the same place at the same time. And they're kind of trying to find each other. He's just found her. She's dancing by herself. Oh, and he's noticing the curve of her hips and her breasts. And she's just spotted him too. More than a decade earlier, Radomir had looked beyond the chubby remnants of awkward girlhood and the violet birthmark and seen the potential of the woman Yana might become given time, maturity, and a greater awareness of her own strength. The woman standing before him now not only confirmed that belief, she had surpassed it. But like I said, did he have to, you know, project into the future what she might look like as she became a woman? Oh, okay, that's what it is. It's the wedding. They weren't sure he was going to attend the wedding because he'd been invited. But Sodran, her brother, they've got a lovely sibling dynamic, said he hasn't replied. But she thought she saw him in the city, their city. So it turns out he's there because of the wedding. So he knew he was going to be seeing her again, whereas they were just hoping for him to show up. That's another thing that was yucky. He did refer to them as his students. because he was teaching them. So there was that student-teacher dynamic as well back then. She's calling him out on some of the things. Okay, so we've got to mention that, you know, she's a virgin. We've got some straddling going on. Like, there's on-page sex, but it's pretty tame. So I'd say it's an M. All right, just give me a second to figure out what I want to rate this. Okay, so let's talk about the book. It felt like a bit of a cozy fantasy romance, but to be honest with you, the slow burn, sometimes inappropriate because of the age factor, romance aside, I felt like it was more about Yana and about her finding her own beauty and her own bravery in standing up against bullies and being able to find kindness over drama in her life and to find allies and to find people that see beyond the superficial to who she was, and realizing she's more than a birthmark on her face, and that a birthmark on her face ain't a big deal. It was very soft, you know, and kind of like a mulled wine on a Christmas night. It was very sweet. If you didn't have the age thing, like, that's just, it doesn't make sense to me why you would have it set up that way. If that wasn't there, this would be a charming little cozy, slow burn romance of two people who just find comfort and acceptance and friendship in each other. It was very friends to lovers, even though it was like originally teachers and student. But it was sweet, and I'm happy for them. The sex scene was quite tame. Grace Draven normally has some spice, but yeah, I could tell. I was like, is this going to be that kind of book? Because it didn't feel like that kind of book. And even though it's not YA, it could have almost been YA because because they would then become adults and have sex. And I don't think that happens in YA books, does it? Wait, is Fourth Wing YA or adults? Because there's a lot of sex in that, and I thought that they were like 18. But again, that's adult. Okay, I don't know. I'm delusional at this point. But what am I going to give it? A 3.25? I just don't think I can give it more than that, because yeah, it starts when she's 15, and it's one thing having crushes on men when they're 15, but I don't know. He did kiss her when she was 18, so I know she's legal. She is legal, but still, you know, I don't know. It still feels like your teacher waiting for you to turn 18. Like, he did realize it was not cool and left, and then nothing happened until she was 26, which is well of age. But yeah, 3.25. Yeah, it was pleasant. I like Grace Draven's writing, but it felt quite young because she was also 16, 15, going through teenage drama and insecurity and growing up, coming of age, you know, first crushes sort of thing. So I don't like sort of age power dynamics in that respect with older men and underage girls. But I'm glad nothing more than a kiss happened until she was in her 20s, and at least the kiss happened at 18 and not a time before. But there was, you know, there was undercurrents of tension and, you know, tracing of faces. I wouldn't want to see a grown man tracing my 16-year-old daughter's face. That's all I'm going to say. So that was a 3.5. Ah, my God, what a day. This is not how I planned for anything to go. Oh my God, it's been crazy. But let me recap the 2 books that I did manage to finish in this reading vlog. So we have In the Darkest Midnight by Grace Draven, and this is about a shy, birthmarked girl and a disciplined swordmaster who fall in love over the years in a wintry kingdom where healing yourself is the greatest accomplishment of all. And then we had Horseman by Christina Henry. And this is a trans-coded book that was set post The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, where you discover that the Headless Horseman isn't the real horror. It's the small town secrets and the family legacy. There is a lot of stuff that I couldn't talk to you about regarding that. So it's to do with something else that you don't think it's to do with. Anyway, that was everything I read. I have cleared a lot of my kobo out. Oh boy, did I. And it really is always an absolute surprise what's lurking there. Stuff that I have forgotten all about. But thank you for bearing with me with this very low thrill, casual, chaotic vlog. Until next time, stay well, Star Child.